county election. This is a state election. This is a national election. This is my artwork of our stick man candidate standing on top of this block, or on top of this ideal. Now, on the town level, we had a candidate, okay, that we could agree on three things only. Don't care who the candidate is, but just say three things only. Let's say he's a guy who says, you know what, let's cut taxes, let's spend less, and let's reduce the size of our government. If he ran on those three things, would you vote? How many people in this room would vote for this person, this candidate? Okay. Now watch this, right? Strength in numbers. Every election in Rockland County so far, all right, is won by swing votes. A swing vote, everybody know what a swing vote is? All right, the difference of votes that go one way or the other. It's come to a percentage of about 5% if Bobby's numbers are right, and Bobby's always just about right. So let's throw a number here. Let's say if we had 2,000 voters, okay, who would vote for this candidate on this block platform in every election, would he win? Yes, the numbers bear out, because 5% of the turnout of swing voters decide elections in this town, in each of the towns. So imagine if we all pulled together and agreed on the three things, and on that candidate, and his opponents knew that to win this deciding swing vote, they would have to conform to this. What would happen to the face of politics around here? They would change their campaigns towards that, and we would start having a real impact and effect, will we not? Now, same thing on the county level. We find three things that we can agree on. The same thing on the state level. We find at least three things to agree on, because there's many more things we can disagree on. So we've got to find the commonality, of course, and then, of course, back on the national level. This 2,000 votes, let's say, on each town level, okay, would have an impact on the town level. Now, if we put our groups together and each of the 5 towns had 2,000 times that, now we're talking about 10,000. If we started turning around and linking up with other groups around the state, okay, this 10,000 turns into 100,000. And when we turn around and start compounding with around the networking around the country, this 10,000 turns into 1 million. Can we win a national election with a swing vote of 1 million votes in this country? Can we do it? Yeah. All right, so it's all in the numbers. It's doable. It's not an impossibility. Okay? How will it begin? Like Frank was saying, common cause. We have to start here on the small local level. Now, I'm going to give you the bad news. You ready? Here it comes. All right? This is where the hard stuff comes in. The hard stuff comes in is how it's done. We're working underneath the framework of a two-party system. That's it. Three-party systems do not work ever. Is that understood?
Yes.
All right? We just not waste time debating it, because it dilutes the election. It only creates, what's that called? The spoiler. It's a spoiler, right? So that doesn't work. So let's throw that to the side. So if you have to use tactics, techniques, and strategy to win, then we have to turn around and come up with some hard choices. Hard choices are, now there are two parties in this town, county, and state. Okay? One party is completely dominating the other party by sheer numbers, even though sometimes the other candidate wins, but the other candidate wins because he has to conform to some things that the other side will agree on, and then therefore alienate the rest of us. Is that what happens? Okay, so how do we reverse that? I've got a crazy plan. Okay? And I'm emphasizing crazy. All right? Now, but bear with my madness for just a moment. All right? And just open your mind and be a little cooperative just for the moment. All right? What if? I'll present it with what if we took a lot of people who were in no party A, and some people who are disgusted with party B, and a lot of people who are disaffected in party C. And if we sliced away a bunch of people from no parties A, joined them up with a bunch of people from party B, who don't really agree with what their party is doing, and then join them with party C with people who are disaffected and don't like what that party is doing either. what would happen if we delivered a bunch of voter registration forms of this kind of numbers, 2,000 people who changed from no party to a former party to this particular party, and delivered that to the chairmen of each of the towns. Would he accept those new voters? Of course he would. That's what he's in the business to do, right? Now, those new party members want to be committee people. A committee person is the one who has worked within the framework of the town committee, and they help formulate policy, platforms, and pick candidates. Now, if you are inside those seats and happen to be able to have an influence over who those candidates may be, we can turn around and say that when Chris Buford is 18 years old, he will be a committee member in that party, and we will begin to groom him for leadership positions in that party. Will he have an influence in that party as he evolves, develops, and matures? Sure he would. If we turn around, if his mommy lets him. But will the rest of us have the same kind of influence? If we turn around and deliver a bunch of new registered voters, all right, even though it's may go against some of your grain, go against some of your philosophy, go against some of your ethics. I'm not speaking on any of those levels. I'm speaking on strictly pragmatic and strategic terms. Now, if we can all agree that we can have a candidate to abide by these three things that we can agree on, and I'm just using this as an example. You know, every town, every village will have its own particular needs, so therefore that candidate would have to, be where the rubber meets the road. But if you all agree on it, and we come together and we say, look, I want to put Bobby up as my candidate. Bobby believes in the three things that we need. I need your help to support Bobby. And we all pull together, and we presented Bobby at the committee, and then we as a candidate, and Bobby delivers and says, hey, I've got 2,000 votes already behind me as I walk in the door. Will the party committee pick him as the candidate? Yes. They would have to. They would have to. Because then we will get rid of that party chairman, because what are you doing? I got a guy walking in the door with 2,000 votes, and you don't want him. Why? You better have a pretty good reason, to convince the rest of the things. I'm going to answer all questions in the end. Two things. So it's something to think about. It's not something that I know that's not going to sit well as it goes along. Now, in Rockland County, there are 193 elected, Bobby? 193. 193 elected positions in all of Rockland County, ranging from dog catcher to county executive. All right, and everything in between. Legislatures, judges, every elected position, 193. Now, what if, maybe, perhaps, our collective groups decide as a goal, we will groom and select and recruit and support one candidate in every election of every position in Rockland County. So if we turn around and produce, as a round figure, 200 candidates for every election that's coming up, and each one of them has behind them a good degree of these numbers that can affect the swing vote, okay? That will become a swing vote. And we turn around and field those candidates. The devil's in the details. There's too much time to go into the details of them. I'm doing broad strokes. But what if? We have one candidate every election of every position in all of Rockland County. Now it comes down to 50-50. We field the candidate. He gets to the election. He either wins or he loses. If half of our candidates win, we put in 100 of our candidates in every elected position in Rockland County. If we do better, we do better. If we do less, we do less, but we do more than what we did prior, because now anything above zero is a good